So this is a continuity equation, and this is the main equation. And we have already given the analogy of a reservoir of water, where inflow and outflow is equivalent to the gradient of or divergence of current. Then generation is like a rain, and evaporation is like a recombination. And then we discussed using a cross section of semiconductor. So where we have only considered the dp by dt is equal to divergence of current minus recombination. And generation term, there is no specific generation process going on. So this is basically net recombination rate inside the semiconductor itself, right? Let's say if we have some optical generation, then that generation term will be separate apart from this recombination lifetime. So this recombination is basically based on monetary carrier or carrier lifetime, correct? So you can write basically two equations, because you can write n is equal to you can write it's not you can write n is equal to n naught plus delta n, and p is equal to p naught plus delta p. So when you take the derivative of n and p, it can all written as derivative of delta n, because n naught is constant, right? So only the change, right? So the excess carrier consultation. So the derivative of excess carrier consultation is basically for holes. There is a minus sign here, minus q dj p by dx, and then recombination again depends on the excess carrier delta p by their lifetime. So only difference in the equation is basically dj by dx, right? For hole, there is a minus sign there. For electron, there is a positive sign there, and that we have already seen. So this is basically overall equation. So these are the main governing equation basically. So two continuity equations are there for electron and holes, and of course this current equation for electron hole. These are constitutive relationship, and this is the Poisson equation, right? Del dot D equal to rho, right? The charge density. Then if you only consider the diffusion current, right? So that means there is no field, right? Only diffusion is there. So somehow you inject the carriers and you don't apply any field. There's only consultation gradient. In that case, the derivative will become because this is dn by dx. So derivative of current will become d2n by dx square, right? So and q will cancel. So you can write dn by dt is diffusion coefficient times d2n by dx square and minus delta n by tau. So this is basically, this is also continuity equation. So you will have to basically see what is the situation. If there is a field there, then you have to use the whole equation. If there is only diffusion, then you have to use diffusion equation. So it depends on the and sometimes some approximations are also made to handle certain scenarios. Let's say if drift current is negligible, then you can assume that it is only the diffusion part is playing the role, right? Then let us discuss the concept of diffusion length, right?
Last class we discussed, but let's begin from here. So diffusion length is basically defined as square root of d tau. Let me see here. Where d is diffusion coefficient and tau is carrier lifetime, right? Now, what is the physical meaning? If you inject certain amount of carriers, let's say capital delta P, and they will propagate through this piece of semiconductor, or they will diffuse through the piece of semiconductor due to the concentration gradient, right? Because you inject carriers here, and under the carrier constant they will diffuse, right? So the distance at which the concentration becomes this delta P by E, right? That is called diffusion length, right? And how do we obtain the expression for the concentration profile? You can solve this continuity equation, d by dt. Now we are assuming it to be in a steady state, right? So we are not discussing the transient response. So when you inject the carrier, so it will take some time to build up, right? So it may be in the beginning, the concentration is just like this. Then after some time, concentration is like this. Then this, right? Then this. So basically it's gradually increasing, right? And when it is in steady state, the carrier concentration profile will look like this blue line. So this is the profile of carrier concentration under steady state. So under a steady state, what will be the length at which concentration will drop down to 1 by E, right? That is diffusion length. So in steady state, d by dt of n or delta n will be 0, right? So you will only have terms such as d times d2 delta n by dx square and delta n by tau recombination, right? And they will be equal. So basically, if you solve this equation, you can write delta p, this is delta p, is equal to capital delta P e to the power minus x by LP. So delta P is basically P as a function of x minus P naught, the background doping, right? And delta P is basically P at x equal to 0, right? Minus P naught. So this is basically the amount of carriers that are injected at x equal to 0. Correct? Now from this carrier profile, we can obtain the current, right? Because J is minus Q dp ddp by dx, right? Where D is a, now you see here D is a diffusion coefficient for holes, and for hole current we have minus sign here. For electron current we have plus sign here, right? That we have already discussed. So this current can be expressed as a factor times delta P, right? So this current is proportional to the excess carrier concentration, right? So you notice here current at x equal to 0 is different. Current at basically current is a function of position and it is decreasing. So that means the carriers that are coming from here and carrier leaving from another point x2, let's say this is x1, this is x2. So current at x2 is less than current at x1, right? So J at x2 is less than J at x1. This current is due to holes. So Jx2 is less than Jx1, right? Now, so in between what is happening? Because these extra carriers are recombining. So that means these carriers are, they are propagating under the diffusion and they are recombining. Let's say if there is no recombination, okay, then what will happen?
Sir?
Then diffusion length will be,
Sir?
what will be the diffusion length?
Sir,
Yeah.
assignment has been
So the assignment is up.
Assignment is?
So the quiz is here.
You are able to see the quiz.
Yes, sir, now.
Yes, sir.
But it is in the completed tab without
Oh, complete tab. Okay, that's okay. Do not worry about forget the quiz. Just focus on the class. That issue we will resolve later. First, to focus on the class. Class is more important. Evaluation is secondary. Evaluation is a part of the formality that we have to do. But main thing you should understand. And evaluation is basically just to make you understand that how much you understand. So please focus on the class. Okay, all of you are with me? All of you are with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
mute yourself.
sir.
So the current is
Yes,
okay. I was
sir.
asking a question. Let's say if the carrier lifetime is infinite, that means no recombination. No recombination means tau is infinite, right? So what will be the diffusion length? What will be the diffusion length? When there is no recombination in this piece of semiconductor, what will be the diffusion length? Any response? You can type. If you don't want to speak, please type. If there is no recombination, what will be the diffusion length? You can see here, you can put tau equal to infinite. So what will happen? This will become basically 0, right? So d by dx, d2 by dx square is 0, right? So that means you will have flat line, right? Correct? Or you will have some linear basically line. Because double derivative is 0, so derivative will be constant. So your delta n will be some ax plus b type of thing, right? So if you have concentration profile like ax plus b, what will be the current? Current will be constant because derivative will be a only, right? Regardless of the position, right? So basically, if you see here at x1, the current and x2, the current at x2, they are different because there is a recombination taking place while the carriers are moving from x1 to x2. Correct? So this is the concept of diffusion length. Okay. Okay. Now, please remember that this is the general expression for continuity equation, right? And we have to involve different terms, or we have to evaluate the terms based on the scenario presented. So we will discuss some example. Now this is general equation for 1D. Your divergence will become d by dx, right? So you will have simply d by dx of the current, right? Current density, Jn or Jp, Jn for electron, Jp for holes. And minority carrier diffusion equation is obtained with the assumption that current is only due to diffusion. So there is no drift current. Then your current equation will be diffusion coefficient times d by dx of n or p, right? When you substitute, you have these two minority carrier diffusion equation, right? So first one is the minority carrier diffusion equation for electrons, right? So these are the electrons in p-type semiconductor, right? In p-type semiconductor, electrons are minority carrier, right? So your diffusion equation for electron will look something like this. And second equation is diffusion equation for holes in n-type, right? So this is n-type semiconductor or silicon, right? So now you see here, when I write n sub p, that means number of electron concentration in p-type region. And delta n sub p means number of excess electron concentration excess electron concentration in p-type region, right? And of course, G is the generation rate. This is net recombination due to traps. If there are no traps, this term will vanish. This is a diffusion. If diffusion coefficient is 0, what will happen? This term will vanish, right? And this is the rate, right? So in steady state, this term will vanish. Correct? Generation can be due to photons, right? So if there is no light, you can remove this term also. Okay, so let us consider first example. This is the diffusion equation, and you have a piece of semiconductor, let's say p-type semiconductor. It's uniformly doped, right? And there's a uniform illumination, right? So uniform illumination and uniformly doped, right? And let's say this illumination is turned on at t equal to minus infinity. That means right now it is in a steady state, right? So that means right now it is in a steady state, right? So what will be the carrier concentration? So to begin solving for this problem, what we can do, first of all, we have to check if it is a steady state, then the derivative will become 0, right? So let's consider two cases, right? Illumination at t equal to minus infinity, and another case you can consider illumination at t equal to 0, right? So if it is at t equal to minus infinity, then it is in a steady state. That means your dn by dt will become 0. Now it is uniformly doped, so this term will also become 0. So what will be your delta n? Delta np will become generation rate times tau n. Correct? Now let's say illumination is turned on at t equal to 0. Is turned on at t equal to 0. That means delta n at t equal to infinity will be gn tau n, right? And of course it is uniformly doped, so this term will still be 0. So d by dt of delta np is minus delta n by tau n plus gn, right? So this is basically a linear differential equation. So we will get some log type of term. So your delta n will basically be some kind of exponential term, right? Where the carrier concentration at infinity will be gn tau n. So if this is a concentration at t equal to infinity, how the expression will look like? At t equal to 0, this has to be 0. So it has to be 1 minus some exponential, right? Minus t by tau. This 1 minus of this. At t equal to 0, this is 0. At t equal to infinite, this will become 0, this will be 1, right? So something like this expression you will get. Is it okay? So delta n at t equal to infinity is gn tau. At t equal to 0, so this is at t equal to infinity. At t equal to 0, it is turned on, so delta n is 0, right? So your expression will look something like this. Okay. Let me rub it now. Okay. Okay. So this should be 0. So illumination turned on at 0. So your expression will look like this. So at t equal to infinite, the concertation is Gn tau n, and at t equal to 0, this concertation is 0. Now let us do a slight variation. Let's say there is some recombination taking place here, right? There are surface states here, and there is a recombination taking place here. Then how the carrier profile will look like? And if let's say this piece of semiconductor is long enough, it is long enough. So that means this side is quite far away, right? This is much more than the diffusion length, right? So here your delta n at t equal to infinity will be Gn tau n, right? But what will the concertation here? So that will be determined by the recombination rate here. So what is the surface recombination rate? Surface recombination rate is, you can recall the generation recombination slide. So in the last couple of slides we discussed about surface recombination, and there's a term called surface recombination velocity, right? So recombination rate at this surface will be v times the surface recombination velocity, right? So you can say surface recombination velocity, right, times delta n, right? That will be the rate of recombination at this interface, right? So let us discuss the full solution. So here your delta n will be Gn tau. Here the boundary condition will tell you. Now if the recombination rate is surface recombination rate times, so that we defined as Sn is a surface recombination velocity times delta n, right? So this is at x equal to 0, right? Now this will be equal to what? So there is a uniform generation taking place here. So if generation taking place here, that means these carriers which are recombining here, they are disappearing. So there will be a slope here, right? So that means carriers will move from right to left, because the generation is uniform everywhere, right? So number of carriers that are generated at x equal to L and x equal to 0, they are same, right? So this diffusion current, right, will be same as the recombination here, right? So diffusion current will be, or just diffusion, right? Diffusion will be d diffusion coefficient of n times the derivative, right? dn by dx. Again, this is also at x equal to 0. So this diffusion of electrons will be same as the recombination rate of this electron at the surface. So surface recombination rate is same as the diffusion of current, right? So now we have two boundaries, right? X equal to 0 and x equal to L. So x equal to 0, this will be the boundary, and x equal to L, your delta n will be G tau. Correct? Now it will be G tau when we assume L to be large, because if L is small, then it will basically fall within the same length, right? So you know, it may not reach this. If it is much larger than the diffusion length, then you can say this is large, much larger than the diffusion length. So when you solve this equation, now how to solve this equation? In a steady state, dn by dt will be 0. So you have to solve basically this equation. Now this equation, if you see here, d times d2n by dx square is equal to minus, and if you take this and this become minus here, right? Correct. So double derivative is equal to delta n by tau plus g. Now this equation is very similar to a linear type of quadratic equation. If this is y, so d2y by dx square, right, is equal to some coefficient or constant times y plus b, right? So for this type of equation, the solution is usually written here, right? Hint is given here, a times e to the power plus minus ax plus b, right? So it can be plus ax and minus ax, right? So if you assume both solution, so and if x is large, so e to the power ax will become at x equal to large, e to the power plus ax will become very large, right? So that will we have to rule out. So you will only have term, the solution will have basically y is a times e to the power ax minus ax plus b, right? So at x equal to L, this will be very small, so you can ignore it. So y will be equal to b, so your b will be g tau, your coefficient b. So delta n you can write, delta n is equal to a times e to the power minus ax. Now a is what? 1 by tau. So this become x by sorry d tau, right? Because d has to go here, right? Then this is same as this form, right? So this become it is a square y, right? It's a square y, right? A square y, sorry. So this has to be become minus x y a times x. Now x is a square is 1 by d tau, right? So this become 1 over d tau plus b. Now at x equal to L, this term will go to 0 because L is very large, right? So you will have only b here, right? And delta n is equal to g tau. So this is g n times tau n. So this is the expression for delta n. Now when you substitute it here for in this equation, you can obtain the coefficient a, because at x equal to 0, the delta n, s n times delta n should be dn times dn by dx. Q is same, so it will cancel out. So that will give you the coefficient a. So the final expression will be something like this, right? So this is basically a profile that looks something like this, right? So this is at x equal to L, this is at x equal to 0. So slope is same as the recombination rate at the surface. So this is x equal to 0, this is x equal to L. Is it okay? Okay, let us consider another example. Okay, again you see this diffusion length is appearing here, right? L is equal to root d tau, right? Now let's say in this case we are not considering generation, right? We are only considering the side diffusion. So there is no light here, so generation goes to 0. Only the diffusion is there from left side. And there are no traps, right? So no traps means this also goes to 0. There is no recombination. So no generation, no recombination. And if there is a steady state, this also goes to 0, right? So what do we have? D times dn by dx goes to 0, right? So delta n will be some kind of ax plus b, right? So this is the same as the in the beginning we discussed the problem, right? So how the profile will look like? It should look like linear, right? Now that linear will depend on the length, right? So what is the length? This is 0 to, let's say, length L. So if length is large, it will be more or less constant, right? If length is small, so then see what happens. This length is like a forcing function. So there is some at this length there is some contact here, right? So at the contact, these minority carrier have to go to 0. Delta n or delta p have to go to 0, right? So this contact will define the boundary condition, right? So this L is actually equal to b, right? So at x equal to b, delta n will be 0. So your simple equation will look like delta n at t equal to 0 times. So this is delta n at x equal to 0, and this is at x equal to b, delta n is 0, right? So it's just a linear line, right? So this is basically 1 minus x over b. So at x equal to 0, this is delta n at 0, and at x equal to b, this becomes 0. So b is the length of this sample. So you see here, This is a straight line without recombination. Let's say there are traps there. So if there are traps, this will become non-zero. So now what you will have? You will have that exponential expression, right? Now, in the very first example, we considered that piece of semiconductor to be long. If the piece of semiconductor is not long, then what will happen? Then you will have to consider both e to the power plus ax and e to the power minus ax. So the solution will be basically a combination of these two, right? So if with traps, this term is non-zero. So you have to solve this equation. This is same as the equation we discussed, d2y by dx square is equal to a square y. B is not there, of course. So you will only have a times exponential ax plus b times e to exponential minus ax, right? So you have to get both the constant, right? And these both constant can be obtained from two boundary condition, right? So at x equal to 0 and at x equal to b, right? So here delta n has to be 0. Here delta n is delta n, capital delta n, or delta n injected, right? So these two we know, right? So when you substitute the equation here, we will be able to evaluate both expressions a and b, and overall expression will look like a little complicated, that you can work out. It's a simple algebra, right? And you appear the sine hyperbolic function, right? And the plot will be, this linear plot is without recombination, and this plot will become something like, it will become curved, right? So this is basically due to recombination, right? So your curve will look like something like this, right? So without recombination, you have a straight line here, right? With recombination, this is basically reducing. So these are some examples that we have discussed. So if you encounter some other example, you can try on your end and understand more about how to apply the minority carrier diffusion equation. Now these examples will be useful while discussing the PN junction and BJT, right? So that's why I have discussed them in detail. So any doubts so far? So if there is no question, then we will yeah.
So why the generation is considered 0?
No, there is no incident light on this one, right? So this generation term is basically the explicit generation term. This generation term is explicit generation due to some mechanism, right? Now this recombination, this is a net recombination due to traps. So this generation term is due to usually the mechanism is light induced generation, but by bombardment there are other mechanisms you can generate the carriers. So this is explicit generation, and this is basically minority carrier lifetime. So basically net recombination, you have this SRS model, right? It is coming from there. For minority carrier, it simplifies to this term. Shockley-Reed-Alro recombination model that we have discussed in generation recombination lecture. Is it okay now? Okay, so now there's one last topic related to this carrier transport. We have discussed Hall effect, right? And what was the takeaway from Hall effect? That Hall effect is used to measure the mobility of majority carriers. So by Hall measurement, we can measure the conductivity. So we get the conductivity of the piece of semiconductor, which is used because we are applying electric field there, right? So it is basically controlled by the majority carriers. Then we apply the magnetic field. This voltage is developed, and that is again controlled by the majority carriers. So we get the mobility of the majority carrier. So we get two expressions. So from Hall effect, we get the mobility and the doping, right? N or P for majority carriers, right? Now question arises, what about minority carriers? So to measure the mobilities of minority carriers, an experiment was designed by Heinz and Shockley, right? So what they did, they took N type of semiconductor, N type of, I think they took germanium only. Then what did they do? Let's say you induce a light pulse here, right? So at t equal to 0, you induce a pulse, right? So pulse is basically the width is very small, delta t is small, right? So at t equal to 0, suddenly carriers are generated. Then they are left to diffuse. What will happen? When you generate these carriers, when you generate a pulse, right? This pulse will diffuse, right? Right? And if you apply the field, then this pulse will propagate and diffuse, right? So if it is a something pulse here, it will appear like this, right? And it will propagate and diffuse, right? So by the propagation of the peak, you can carry the, you can measure the mobility, right? The peak is propagating, right? You can measure the mobility, and by the width of this or the spread of this concentration profile, you can measure the diffusion, correct? And these are the minority carriers, remember, because see, for N type semiconductor, of course, N concentration is more than P, and when light pulse is generated, N becomes N plus delta N and P becomes P plus delta P, right? So of course, the variation in delta P will be much large, and the diffusion of delta P will be very significant. So this is a diffusion, basically this whole pulse are basically propagating under the field and diffusing. So by this we can basically measure the minority carrier drift velocity and their diffusion coefficient. So drift velocity will be very simple. You measure, let's say you induce a pulse here, right? And then at x equal to L, you have some measurement here, right? So you are measuring how much current is passing, right? So now this pulse is basically spreading in position, but when you are measuring at certain point, what you will measure? You will measure this concentration here, then this one here. So as the pulse is passing, you are measuring the current, right? So as a function of time, this pulse will look something like this, right? Now this correspond to this one, P correspond here, and this correspond here, right? So this will appear first at T1, then this will, so this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, right? So this is T1, this is T2, and this is T3, right? So it will be slightly, you know, kind of 180 degree rotated, right? So this will appear behind, this will appear after, right? But so when we observe on oscilloscope, we are observing with respect to time. So we are observing current with respect to time. But what is happening? This pulse of carriers is basically moving and spreading. So when you measure that peak current or appears at, let's say, some time t, so from this you can find out the drift velocity, right? So if the applied field is E, the drift velocity will be Vd, drift velocity will be mu times E, right? So from this you can get the mobility. So drift velocity will become, let's say at t equal to 0, you incidence a light pulse here, and this appears at some time t2. So velocity will become this length L by t2 will become drift velocity, right? L by t2 will become drift velocity. And electric field you already know, because based on applied voltage, you can measure the mobility, right? And what was the diffusion coefficient? For diffusion coefficient, you have to basically look at this curve, right? So the spread of the curve will tell you the diffusion coefficient, correct? And this we will, when we see the total equation, we will basically be able to relate it to that how it is related to the spread here, right? Now this is basically this spread will be in terms of delta t, right? And how it is related to the spread in delta x. So delta x is delta t times drift velocity. Because let's say you start measurement at this point, right? So this part will drift the length delta x with drift velocity v, right? So delta x will be delta t in the measured window times the drift velocity. So delta x in physical length will be same as the measured delta t times the drift velocity. Is it okay? So now let us look at the setup. How the Heinz and Shockley made the setup. So this is the setup here. There are two voltages, right? The first voltage is V1, right? That is used to create the electric field. So it is end to end. As a length is some, some length is there. Is not L here because L is between 1 and 2. So this will create an electric field. Then you have pulse here to inject carriers at point 1 and at point 2 they are measured, right? So you are measuring the voltage, right, at point 2. So as the pulse propagates, the current will basically pass through it, right? So you will basically see this pulse moving through this point. So this if there is no pulse moving, then of course your voltage will be same. If the current is more, then this voltage will increase, right? So as the pulse passes through this point 2, you will see this kind of profile, right? Now, so as we have discussed in previous slide, it is mu e times T1 So these carriers are, let's say in T1 time, they will move distance, drift velocity time T1, right? So at T1, the peak will be at here, this point, mu e times T1. In T2, it will be mu e times T2. Right? So this is basically a carrier distribution. So here this picture is basically shows when there is no applied field, then the pulse is basically just diffusing, right? The pulse is diffusing, but it's not moving. When field is applied, pulse is diffusing as well as moving, right? So if you try to see the magnetic carrier diffusion equation, and if we simplify it, let's say dp by dt is the derivative of the current minus recombination plus generation, right? So you have basically we have set generation to be 0, right? Because once pulse disappears, there is no more generation, right? So the generation term Gp is non-zero only during the pulse, right? While pulse is there Gp will be non-zero. Once the pulse is removed, there is no more generation, right? So generation term will be 0. And if we try to solve it without the electric field, right? So that means at the same position, the peak will always appear at x equal to 0. If there is no field, the peak will always appear at x equal to 0, right? So the solution to this equation will look something like this, where n is the number of carriers, total number of carriers that are generated by the pulse, right? So pulse has generated total number of carriers, right? And as the pulse is spread, this is the pulse, right? As the pulse is spread, this peak decreases, right? The only thing that will be constant will be the area. The total number of carrier will be constant, right? So the area under the pulse and area under this spread function, they will be same, right? So peak will reduce, right? So peak as a function of time is reducing n by square root of 4 pi dt. So as the time is increasing, this peak is reducing. And the position of peak, if you see here, if you, let's say, forget this term for some time, there is no recombination, so this term will also disappear. You will only have minus x square 4 dt. So this will be a Gaussian function with the peak at x equal to 0. So the peak will be at x equal to 0 only, and it is reducing, right? And if you have a recombination, then with time also it will the peak will basically change, right? So you will have this t by tau p also here. Now this pulse is basically moving under electric field, right? So if under electric field is moving, so pulse spread will be determined by x square by 4 dt, right? So the delta x here, right? So delta x basically is position where the peak drops by 1 by e, right? So at delta x square 4 dt should be 1, right? So delta x square by, sorry, delta x by 2, because this is delta x, right? So this will be delta x by 2, this will be minus delta x by 2. So delta x by 2 whole square by 4 dt, right? Should be 1. So that means your d comes out to be d comes out to be how much? Delta x delta x square 2 to the 4 for the 16, right? So 16 times t, right? So with time your diffusion coefficient is delta x square by 16 t, right? Now if there is a field applied here, then this pulse will be moving, right? And your x will be replaced by x minus drift velocity times t, right? And drift velocity is mu times electric field. So your delta x is drift velocity times t, right? Is a t measured at the peak, right? And this t is basically also td, right? So when you substitute it, you get the expression that we discussed in the beginning, right? Your delta x square is 16 td, right? And delta x is delta t times vd, right? Okay, so by Shockley-Hines experiment, we can measure both the mobility of the magnetic carriers as well as the diffusion coefficient. And one last slide, we have discussed total current equation, right? The total current comes from drift current, right, which is proportional to the electric field, and the diffusion current, which is related to the slope of the carrier concertation. Now, if you recall the relationship for carrier concertation, for example, n in this case electron, n is equal to ni exponential EF minus EI by KT. Now in typical situation, if it is in equilibrium, we can write EF here, but if it is not in equilibrium, then of course we have already discussed the concept of quasi Fermi level. So these electron and holes will have separate or different Fermi levels, right? So we call them Fn for electron and Fp for holes. So for electron, we can express electron concentration as Ni exponential Fermi level minus intrinsic level divided by KT. So the concentration gradient, you can differentiate this equation, and what you will get basically, because exponential, when you differentiate, you will get exponential only. So whole thing can come out nx, and then if you differentiate the term which is in power of this exponential, what we will get 1 by KT times gradient of Fermi level and the gradient of intrinsic energy level. Now in case of equilibrium, the gradient of Fermi level is 0 because Fermi level is constant, right? So you only have a gradient of EI, and the gradient of EI is basically related to the electric field, because energy is minus Q times V. So EI is basically the electron energy, right? Is minus Q times V, right? So derivative of E d by dx will be minus Q dB by dx, right? So it will basically be Q times electric field, right? So what will happen when you substitute this to the current equation? Your these two things will cancel basically, right? So what you will have basically, you will just have mu n times derivative of Fermi level, right? So basically this is also called modified Ohm's law, where current density is simply given by the derivative of Fermi level. Similarly, whole current density is given by simply the derivative of whole quasi Fermi level. So so instead of using this equation, the whole drift plus diffusion, it is equivalent to the equation having the derivative of Fermi level, right? So basically your current is always proportional to the derivative of Fermi level. Okay. Now this quasi Fermi level is also called electrochemical potential. If you analyze this one, there are two terms, electro and chemical, right? So drift part is called electric potential. So drift is due to the gradient of electric potential, right? So this electric potential is basically if there is some point A is at higher potential than B, right? Then what will happen? The electron will move from B to A, right? So that negative charge is coming from B to A, right? Or you can say if there is a positive charge, it will go from A to B, right? So this is a tendency of a higher potential to give away the positive charge, right? So it's basically, you know, electric potential is tendency to give away the charge, right? Positive charge. Similarly, the chemical potential is responsible for the diffusion, right? So chemical potential can also be analyzed similarly. Is a tendency, right, to give away the particle. So if something is at higher potential, right, it will give away the particles. So particle will go from higher chemical potential to lower chemical potential. So they are, you know, somehow related to the Fermi level, but exactly Fermi level is both electrochemical potential. Okay, so with this we have completed our carrier transport, and just for summary, we have discussed the drift, diffusion. So they are basically two forces that constitute the driving force for current flow. And then we also discuss about the mobility. We discuss the measurement of mobility. So there is a 4-probe method, which is basically used to measure the conductivity. Then for majority carriers, their mobility and the carrier concertation, we can obtain from Hall measurement. And there is another experiment by Heinz and Shockley, which is basically used to determine the mobility and diffusion coefficient of minority carriers. Right. So with this, we close this chapter. And if you have any question, I will address. Otherwise, we will move on to the PN junction. Any question is there?